Hello and welcome to another shipwreck video. So it might be the middle of winter now, but we're lucky here off the coast of Falmouth in Cornwall because we've got a whole range of really good wreck diving spots just off our coast. We can continue to dive even in these more unsettled winter months. So today we're going to be heading down the coast here and we're going to be diving a ship called the Volnay, which is a popular local dive site. On the 14th of December 1917, the British merchant ship Volnay was travelling from Canada to Plymouth when she hit a mine 2 miles southeast of the Manacles Rocks in Cornwall. She was captained by Henry Plough and carrying a cargo of luxury goods and 18-pounder ammunition, which was in urgent need over in France on the Western Front. During the Somme offensive in July 1916, more than 1.7 million artillery shells were fired in the first 7 days of the attack. By 1917, over 38 million 18-pounders had been fired, 38% of the total for the whole war, indicating the extent to which artillery had escalated in 1917. Now, despite a large hole in the ship, the crew actually thought it would stay afloat, so they decided to leave the ship at anchor in this sheltered bay just off Pothoustock here behind me. Now, unfortunately, the ship did sink, so we're going to go down now and we're going to see what's left on the seabed. We descend the shot line into the 20 metres of water depth which the remains of this steamship now lie. The ship's main boilers are often one of the first things to come into view and are the highest standing part of the wreck at around 4 metres high. Behind the boilers is where the engine was once located. However, this has been salvaged many years ago, with little remaining now other than a few fittings. Behind this is the remains of the aft cargo hold. The Volnay was a traditional 3-island steamship, with its engine and boilers positioned midships, with 2 main cargo areas positioned fore and aft. It's worth looking amongst the wreckage here, where some of its 18-pounder shellcase cargo still sits within the wreck. These cargo areas are also marked by small lead shot, which were once part of the anti-personnel shot which was contained within the projectiles. We're going to make our way up to the bow area now, which is the most intact part of the wreck. Up until this point, most of the wreckage has been flat on the seabed as a result of the previous salvage attempts on its cargo. As we swim around the bow, we can recognise the giant hawser pipes that would once have held the Volnay's 2 large anchors in place. The bow itself seems to have turned over and now sits inverted on the seabed. We swim back to the forward hold area. Along the way we pass some high-standing wreckage and find more evidence of its cargo remains in the form of the wooden boxes and frames which once supported the 18-pounder rounds. We work our way back to the shot line and past the single smaller donkey boiler which sits forward of the larger main boilers, and we begin our ascent to the surface. A few minutes waiting at a depth of 6 metres allows any nitrogen bubbles in our bodies to leave so that we can safely head back to the surface. Okay, we're all back now, so we're going to have a look at some of the Volnay's cargo, which for a lot of it was 18-pounder ammunition. So what we have here, this is the intact box that we recovered. Now I've had to take it all apart, but all the bits are still here, so the wood's actually in quite good condition. You can see this is the shell case end here, and this is your projectile, so this is the bit that gets fired, and this is where the nose fuses would have fitted within these holes here. Now some of these shell cases have actually survived very well down there. That one's actually in quite good condition. Others, the pressure has got to, because the end is sealed, the water pressure has actually squeezed the airspace up, like that one there. Completely mangled the case. And then in this end of the shell case is where the actual projectile bit is. So this is the bit that actually gets fired. Now these are the nose fuses. There's actually two different types on the Volnay. So the first type has got a slightly different pull. The others have a ring pull type attachment to get the protective cover off. And then when you get the covers off, which are actually nicely dated, you can see they're number 80 there, Mark 7, 1917. When you take the covers off, you can actually see the workings of the head itself, and you can see how the time was set on the little increments all etched into it. When you strip one down, they actually come apart into all these different pieces. They're quite difficult to take apart. And then this is the content of the shell. So these are the shrapnel balls. This is what's ejected from the case. And this one here, this actually shows this is a remade round. So this round isn't actually from the Volnay, this part projectile. This has actually been picked up from the battlefields of the Somme. But the case and the head I've recovered and put back together just so you can see the size of the complete shell. We can show you how one works. This is the shell case. So this goes here. The projectile end fits into the case here like this. And then the timer fuse fits on the end of that connecting rod. And when it fires, when the whole projectile is airborne, the nose fuse fires a spark down through this tube, which then ejects this whole cartridge on a plunger. I'll show you the plunger in this one. So this then ejects, firing, there's a charge underneath here, and this fires out, ejecting all these lead shot into the air, or onto the ground, wherever the round was based. So yeah, it's a nasty piece of work. So just a bit of a warning now that old ammunition can still be dangerous. Even seemingly empty shells may still contain traces of explosives or unfired primers which could become unstable if allowed to dry out. All of the items you've seen in this video have been made safe and have been checked by both the police and bomb disposal. We would advise any munitions found on wreck sites to be left well alone. So thanks for watching the video all about the Volnay. We're going to try and get out as much as we can and try and get a few more videos put together, but until then we'll catch you next time.